Alright guys, so today's video we're going to check out the brand new Sennheiser CX True Wireless Earbuds. Now while I was testing these, and actually even before I got them in, one of the main questions I kept asking myself is, why would Sennheiser release this product specifically? And the reason I'm asking that is, it wasn't that long ago that they released the CX400BT. And Sennheiser is one of those companies that they don't have to release a new version of a certain model every year. If something works, they usually let it work for a while, and then when it needs its upgrades, they'll release something different. And this pair is almost identical in a lot of ways to the CX400BT, but it's also different in a lot of ways as well. So we are going to talk about some of the similarities and the differences, and let's go ahead and start with the price. When the CX400BTs came out, they came out retailing at $200. And at that time, there was quite a bit of competition in the true wireless earbud market. The CX400BTs does not have active noise canceling like the Sennheiser Momentum 2s. So I knew Sennheiser was trying to release something that could give you incredible sound quality, but not have to pay for active noise canceling. But at the same time, I still felt like they priced themselves out of a very competitive market with a bunch of other big name companies and unknown companies. Now, if you look up the Sennheiser CX400BTs, a lot of times you can find them on sale for $100. So they pretty much got marked down like half off. And so I think Sennheiser wanted to release a product, basically another CX model that came out at a lower price, because these retail for $130 instead of $200 like the CX400BTs. And they did actually make some pretty noticeable upgrades. I think they went through and listened to a lot of people and what they wanted in the CX400BTs. But the Sennheiser CX model, I think, was released mainly because the market is different. The sound quality that Sennheiser offers is just no surprise, which we'll talk about that. But the market has so many earbuds with so many features and so many different types of sound signatures. They need to be competitive. They need to stay competitive. And I think that is the whole purpose of releasing these. But let's go ahead and start with talking about some of the similarities and differences between the two. And I think the first thing we should talk about is the overall appearance. I think if you first glance at the Sennheiser CX, they look identical to the CX400BT. But the noticeable difference is on the CX, it's an all matte finish, where the CX400BTs kind of had a glossy finish where you would use your touch controls, and having this matte finish means it doesn't pick up fingerprints as easily. And some other things that they did differently with the case, on the back of the case where you have your USB-C input for charging, they used to have a pairing button and they had an indicator light right next to that charging port, where now they do not actually have a pairing button, and the indicator light is on the front side of the case. So I actually like these different design choices. It's, again, something a lot of people are not going to notice, but to me, it's subtle things that make these stand out. Now, a very nice welcome upgrade is they went from Bluetooth 5.1 to 5.2. This pair also has aptX, AAC, and SBC playback, just like the CX400BTs did. But having that Bluetooth 5.2 just adds that little bit more stable connection, but it also made this pair very good with media, because I did not experience any kind of lag when it came to movies or videos, and if there was any lag with gaming, it was very minimal. So having Bluetooth 5.2 is beneficial over 5.1 just for that reason alone. And another noticeable upgrade comes in with the battery life. They definitely made a bump in the earbuds and in the case, because you're actually getting 9 hours on the earbuds themselves with around 27 hours using the case. So you're getting a couple of hours extra just on the earbuds, and you're getting around 7 more hours total using that case. And I think that's a very nice upgrade as well. One of the big upgrades, though, that I know a lot of people did have complaints about the 400BTs is in the CX, you can now use both earbuds individually. It's not one of those, master-slave connections where one has to depend on the other to be able to work. So I know a lot of people that like to use their earbuds individually are going to be happy about this choice, because now you can just use either the left or the right by themselves. Now, another thing that also makes the CX model stand out over the 400s is the CX model has an official IP rating, although it's only rated at IPX4, so it'll be fine against splashes and rain and sweat and things like that. The 400 BTs didn't actually have an official IP rating, so having that IPX4 rating on this CX model definitely makes these a little more appealing than the 400 BTs. Now, moving over to some of the similarities that they have, the CX earbuds do use Sennheiser's app just like the 400s did. And the app, to me, I think is very important because it does have some pre-built EQ options. It also allows you to EQ these on your own. And one feature they added to this pair that I like is it also gives you the ability to control how much you can hear yourself during phone calls. And the reason that's important is you're not having to yell because you're not hearing yourself. So being able to hear yourself during phone calls is nice, but being able to control how much you can hear yourself is actually pretty nice as well. Now, as far as what all they're including in the box, you are getting the same 4 sets of silicone ear tips. You're also getting a USB-C cable. And one upgrade that I wish they would have made on this pair that they didn't is this pair still does not have Qi wireless charging, and it also does not have a fast charge feature. And that matches the 400 BTs, so there's no upgrade here. And this is where a lot of people may have a problem with that. If you're spending around $130, almost every pair of earbuds in the market either has Qi wireless charging or a fast charge feature. So for this pair not to have that, especially if you're somebody that's just driven off features alone, you are definitely going to feel like you have some better options out there. So now moving over to looking at the actual earbuds themselves. Again, it's an all matte black finish. There is a slight little black glossy trim around the middle of the earbuds, but again, this is not noticeable. This is a very comfortable pair of earbuds, although it is a fairly large pair of earbuds. So if you're somebody that doesn't like your earbuds standing out, you may not like the design of these, but I think it also adds to the spaciousness that you're getting in the sound quality. I've always felt that about the Sennheiser earbuds, and this pair is no different. Now, another thing that I'm happy with is they stuck with the touch controls and gave you that large flat surface. And I'm happy to say that they give you control over everything. So you have your ability to play, pause, skip your tracks forward, go backwards, control your volume, all of it right there on the earbud itself, which I always think comes in handy. Now, for you guys that do like to use your earbuds for phone calls, I do think there is a slight noticeable upgrade here as well. I think the mic did a very good job of picking up my voice, and I also felt like it did a really good job of blocking out my surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here.
All right, guys, so here is a mic test using the CX earbuds. Again, I think as far as how it picks up my voice, I think it picks it up pretty well. It does pick up bass tones, so it has a warmer sound to it. But this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is a mic test with the crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call public.
So now let's talk about the sound, because the sound of the Sennheiser true wireless earbuds in general have always kind of been in a class of its own. And the reason I say that is they don't have a compressed or digital effect on the sound quality. It doesn't feel like it's trying to alter it too much. They're very open and spacious sounding in my opinion. And I feel that the CX model is pretty much identical to the 400 BTs when it comes to audio. I think really the only difference that I can tell is it does sound slightly warmer on the CX, and it also kind of felt like it brought the treble down just a little bit on this pair, and I think that kind of is more so because this has a slightly warmer sound, but in my opinion that is a benefit in a lot of ways because it sounds just a little bit more natural than the 400s did. I thought the 400s sounded fantastic. I think the CX sounds just as good, if not better. You're still getting very good details in the mids and the highs. Vocalists sound very natural. They're not pushed too forward. The treble is not a bright treble. It's not one of those that's going to get close to the point of being harsh. And the bass is not not going to be one of those that's overpowering. Now, the bass in the CX model seems to have a little bit more thump than it did in the 400s. It's very clean, but it's very warm. And in my opinion, it just sounds great across all genres. There's not one that I don't feel it didn't excel at. If you're listening to something that's vocal driven, you have no issues hearing all of the characteristics in Vocalist. If you're listening to something chaotic like metal, you'll be able to pick up the drums, the bass guitar, rhythm guitar, lead guitar, and these do such a great job of being able to pick apart where all of those different instruments are coming from. I think this is the one area that Sennheiser stands out amongst the rest. It's just the sound quality alone, and I've always said that's the main thing that I look for when I'm looking at a pair of earbuds. So I would gravitate towards picking out a pair of Sennheisers over a pair that just has a lot of features, because I know the sound quality that I'm getting is always going to be something that fits what I like. And really the only cons that I have with these is that they still did not make the case a Qi wireless charging case. They did not add any kind of fast charge feature. And I do think the size of these is going to be a turnoff for some of the people out there that don't like having earbuds sticking out of their ears. But outside of that, it really comes down to if you want to pay $30 more over the 400s, because like I said, they're on sale all the time for $100. If you want to pay that extra $30, what you're getting is better battery life, you're getting upgraded Bluetooth, you actually have an IP rating now, and you can use either the left or the right by themselves. So I think, in my opinion, that is definitely worth the $30 over the 400s. And the price that these came out at is where I think the 400s should have come out anyway. So I think they finally have a good price point with these. Again, the market is very competitive, so if you're a feature-driven consumer, this may not be the pair for you. But if you're more driven towards audio, this is definitely a pair that I'd recommend. And it doesn't even matter, again, what genre you listen to. But guys, that's my video on the brand new Sennheiser CX True Wireless Earbuds. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.